Good evening and welcome to your final night before news video for your maths exams and your PPEs. This is for paper 3 tomorrow morning. I'm just going to start off by reminding you what was in paper 1. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at the slide. You can always pause the video if you want a bit of a reminder. And then everything that came up in paper 2. And although we saw some of those things that we were saying will come up in papers 2 or 3, there's still every opportunity again that these things could come up in paper 3 as well, because sometimes topics can repeat themselves and sometimes topics are quite big. So things like the compound interest question, I don't think that means that we won't see any more percentages because we haven't had like a nice big reverse repeated percentage change question yet. So I think there's every chance we could see something like that again. So same health warning as we had for paper 2. All of this is just like best guess estimations as to what might be coming up, and absolutely not a guarantee as to what's in there tomorrow. There is still that slim chance that because we haven't quite finished the scheme of work, there might be something there that you haven't studied yet, but please do not concern yourself if that happens again. You're not going to be expected to get those right, and we'll be covering those when the PPEs are over. Splitting these off into the strands again, here's everything that I think is remaining of algebra that we haven't seen yet, so may well be seeing tomorrow morning. Again, you can always pause the video here if you want to have a bit more of an in-depth look, but when you're picking topics to revise this evening, it does make sense to choose things that we haven't seen yet. Same for geometry. I've actually left quite a lot of geometry there. So compound measures, we've now seen speed and density. Probably less likely we'll see pressure, but it's always, possible. And then we had a 3D trig question. I think it's likely there'll be another trigonometry question. And I still don't think we've seen that many questions involving angles and volume. Statistical and probability, I do not think we'll see another, histogram, frequency polygon, or cumulative frequency graph. I think that would be unlikely, but still a lot there that we haven't seen. So box plots, product rule for counting, Venn diagrams, probabilities of successive events, etc. Number wise, we had a bounds question, calculating with bounds question in paper 2, but not an error interval question yet. So that's likely, you can see I've left in there repeated percentage change, but perhaps reverse in some way. And ratio and proportion, I still think there's a chance we could see any of these things again. We did have a direct proportion question in paper 2, so perhaps less likely, but I do think it's better to stay on the safe side. So what should you do this evening? Same advice as the last 2 videos really. Have a look through those lists of topics and decide the ones you feel like would be most beneficial for you this evening to focus on. Think about where your personal gaps are. And then you've got the same old places, but it's worth revisiting them to remind you that Sparks Maths Independent Learning. Just please make sure that you are on GCSE so that when you search for topics, they do come up. You've got exam queue for these past exam questions. Double check you're on higher and that you've selected the calculator papers, and then you can just search for your topic, and you always have then the official mark scheme that came with that question when it was actually in the real exams. Maths Genie, click on GCSE revision, and then you can choose from a long list of topics, and you just get topic packs of questions with videos and answers as well. And similar to that, Core Bit Maths, click videos and worksheets, and you've got videos, obviously, practice questions, and they do come with answers. And then finally, first class maths, so click revision and then make sure you've selected GCSE Edexcel and not AQA. And again, list of topics alphabetized. You can also see on the very far right, like how often these things come up in the exam series, so that's a really useful feature as well. And if you're looking to do whole practice papers, because you think that might help narrow down some topics to focus on, then get yourself onto Maths Genie, and rather than clicking GCSE revision, click GCSE papers and then Edexcel exam papers, and actually make sure that you scroll down far enough, because initially on that page is all of the foundation papers and you want to get yourself down to the higher papers. Tomorrow morning the hub will be open from 7 a.m. and we'll be down there to give you some support for that final bit of revision in the morning. Bring in some questions that you haven't been able to answer from your revision this evening. We'll have a similar thing of you can go online on Sparks, on ExamQ, on Corbett, on any of the computers, and we'll have some spare exam papers laying around as well. And then we'll move off into the conservatory or the canteen to do your breakfast mat warm up before lining up and heading in to your final maths exam. That's everything for this video. Good luck with your last bits of revision tonight, and we'll see you in the morning.